jab right there that really knocked Jake back. I think that's his most effective punch of the round. But then we see right hand grazes Mike Tyson by Jake Paul. That would have been a good shot had it been on the chin.
Mike Tyson just revealed the truth behind the Jake Paul fight, and it's every bit as dramatic as you'd imagine. Mike, the same guy who can obliterate heavy bags with punches that sound like gunshots during training, steps into the ring and suddenly seems off. Those notorious, bone-crushing hooks. They were reduced to gentle taps, as if Tyson had switched to sparring partner mode.
See Jake Paul land a beautiful jab with right hand first, right there, and knocked Mike off balance 2 times. And Mike was highly off balance right there. I don't like how his legs look. Yeah, something wrong with the mouth gear.
That affects his oxygen intake.
Tyson's punches, which normally leave opponents questioning their life decisions, seemed more like casual taps on Jake Paul. The man who once turned his opponents into legends before memes were even a thing now couldn't take down a YouTuber with only 11 fights under his belt. Suspicious, right? Well, Tyson finally spilled the beans, and trust me, his explanation is more exciting than anything you've seen on X this week.
Mike Tyson people talk to. People are there's certain people that are just crazy, man.
Well, these people that think that he don't stand a chance against Jake Paul, they're like, this shouldn't even because he's too old. I was like, I think you're crazy.
Well, they're definitely uninformed.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing: he is 57 years old. He will be 58 when they fight. He has had a long fighting career. He has been knocked out by massive men like Lennox Lewis and Evander Holyfield. You know, he's had a lot of blows, and he's also doing this very unique kind of training with electrical.
The voice of modern combat sports didn't hold back when analyzing the spectacle that was Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul on his podcast. Rogan marveled at the surreal sight of a 58-year-old Tyson facing off against a YouTuber turned boxer. While he acknowledged Jake's youthful energy and improving skills, Rogan couldn't overlook Tyson's slowed speed and diminished power. Mike still has that head movement, Rogan observed, but the punches aren't what they used to be. In the end, Rogan concluded, Jake may have won, but it wasn't the unstoppable Mike Tyson fans remember and adore.
You know, you guys know the whole story about Shark Week, and you know, if you don't, I begged him not to do the Roy Jones fight. You're too old. I love you. I don't want to see you take any more punishment. So I set him up on Shark Week. He got paid good money. And he's like, you fucking... So he almost flipped out the last day and was ready to kill everybody on the boat because he had to jump in with all these sharks again in the middle of Florida. And he's like, this fucking asshole says that, you know, he cares about me and everything else. I've been fighting since I was 12. And he throws me in the ocean with a bunch of sharks. He was right about that, too. But he basically said, I told him, Mike, you're basically 60 years old. And he's like, you honestly think this kid's going to do...
Dana White just came clean Mike Tyson was right. And Dana was totally wrong about the Jake Paul fight. Shocking, right? He begged Tyson not to fight Roy Jones, claiming he was too old, but somehow didn't think Jake Paul would be the one to take Tyson down. But here's the thing: Tyson didn't need to knock Paul out. He just had to show up, collect his paycheck, and prove once again that when Tyson's in the game, everyone makes money. Nearly 60, Mike Tyson didn't just box Jake Paul, he boxed the entire system. So, next time you settle in for a Netflix night, don't fool yourself into thinking you're about to see the greatest live sporting event. You're just watching a payday disguised as a fight.
Was scripted. Everyone is talking about this on X, and the script was actually leaked on X a few days ago. Now this script has went viral. Let's see how accurate it was. The opening bell rings, Tyson is showing flashes of his old form, which actually happened. As soon as the bell went, Mike Tyson came out with that head movement, pushing forward. Immediately he stalks forward with his signature bob and weave style. Now let me just stop right there. Even before I seen this script, that's exactly what was going to happen. Like, what else would happen? Would Mike Tyson...
Dana White finally admitted it. Mike Tyson was right, and he was completely wrong about the Jake Paul fight. Surprising, right? He pleaded with Tyson not to fight Roy Jones, arguing he was too old, yet somehow didn't see Jake Paul as the one who'd be the one to take Tyson down. But here's the kicker: Tyson didn't need to knock Paul out. He just showed up, grabbed his paycheck, and once again proved that when Tyson's in the mix, everyone profits. At nearly 60, Mike Tyson didn't just face Jake Paul, he took on the whole system. So, next time you settle in for a Netflix night, don't fool yourself into thinking you're about to witness the greatest live sporting event. You're just watching a payday in disguise.
Mike Tyson fight, with some people claiming that it was rigged because many people bet a lot of money and they lost a lot of money. Allegedly, there's this script that got leaked showing how the fight was supposed to go down between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. This was actually covered by World Star Hip Hop. So let's read this alleged script and see how the fight was supposed to go down. So round one was supposed to go like this. The opening bell rings and Tyson, showing flashes of his old form, immediately stalks forward.
A few punches land, but surprise, Paul's youth keeps him in the lead. In round two, Tyson lands a body shot so perfect it makes the crowd gasp. Meanwhile, Paul, the apparent marathon runner, bounces around the ring like fatigue is nothing more than a myth.
Paul's youth shows in his superior ability. Paul connects with a quick 1-2 combination before retreating. Tyson's timing appears slightly off, his punches a fraction slower than his prime. Round 2. Tyson comes alive, cutting off the ring more effectively. He lands a thunderous left hook to Paul's body that draws a collective gasp from the crowd. Paul weathers the storm, using his reach advantage to pepper Tyson with...
By round 3, Paul gains confidence, landing punches like he's been doing this forever, while Tyson's head movement starts to slow down. In round 4, Tyson looks fatigued, and Paul lands clean shots, turning the fight into a highlight reel of Jake's footwork. Then, in round 5, Paul lands a perfectly timed combo that sends Tyson to the canvas. The 10-count hits, Paul wins by KO, and the crowd is left wondering if they just witnessed a fight or a Broadway play. While Tyson didn't say outright if it was rigged, let's be honest, it doesn't take a detective to see this was less about boxing and more about scripted drama.
Assessment of Jake Paul, the boxer.
A very good fighter.
Do you think he deserves respect from the public?
Absolutely.
Hey, that was a good slap. I like that.
Apparently, the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation couldn't take the risk of a real fight, so the duo turned it into a sparring session with a hint of drama. Tyson claimed it was all about giving fans a show, but what they got was a watered-down version of boxing, where both fighters agreed not to go too hard on each other. No knockdowns. No knockouts, just two guys playing tag in front of a paying audience. Tyson even admitted to carrying Jake Paul, because, well, a YouTuber-turned-boxer needed some help looking good in the ring. Of course, Tyson had his reasons. He revealed he'd been through a near-death experience earlier in the year, losing half his blood and undergoing 8 transfusions. That explained his lackluster performance, though it did little to ease the frustration of fans who felt cheated.
Take your foot off the gas just a little bit because you noticed he was tiring out?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely a bit. You know, I wanted to give the fans a show.
Tony Bellew called it a circus and urged everyone to boycott Jake Paul until he faces someone who isn't eligible for a senior discount. Terrence Crawford and Gervonta Davis also weighed in, with Davis calling Paul a bozo for failing to finish a 58-year-old Tyson. Meanwhile, Paul, always the showman, expressed his delight over the win and hinted at fighting Tyson's brother next, because nothing says legitimacy like jumping from one scripted spectacle to the next. This fight didn't prove much, other than that boxing is willing to sell its soul for a payday. Tyson may still be a legend, but this bout felt more like reality TV than real boxing. As for Jake, the self-proclaimed problem child, he's still waiting for a real problem to face him in the ring.
Take from beating an old Mike Tyson,
I believe he actually won the first 2 rounds. Jake Paul probably won the rest of them. Mike Tyson's legs were gone, man. They were gone. And I believe Ryan, I got to give Ryan credit on this one, man. Because Ryan from Sports Wars, he did say that there would be like a no knockout.
Tyson versus Jake Paul, because apparently the pinnacle of boxing now means a 58-year-old legend facing off against a YouTuber-turned-boxer. The match, a masterpiece of absurdity, left fans expecting a nostalgic Tyson blitz. But instead, they got a glorified sparring session. Tyson bobbed and weaved for about 30 seconds before his legs threw in the towel. Jake Paul, at 31 years old, managed to win in a fight many believe was more choreographed than a Broadway show.
What do you think of the fight? It wasn't a good one. It wasn't a good one. Yeah. Overall, how'd you just see how Jake fought, how Mike fought?
Well, you know, you can tell something was wrong with the Tyson leg, so he couldn't. His balance was off.
Oh, that's crazy. You noticed that. I just talked to his trainer, and he told me that exact thing. Yeah. His balance was off.
The balance was off.
Yeah.
Critics immediately screamed scripted as leaked details eerily aligned with the play-by-play. Mike didn't throw the punches he used to, likely contractually restricted from sending Jake into next week. Even former champs like Evander Holyfield questioned the legitimacy, wondering if Tyson was set up to lose. Jake may have some skills, but let's not crown him a boxing genius for beating a man older than some of his jokes. Netflix hyped this debacle to the moon, only to deliver lagging streams and a fight that resembled an awkward dad versus son backyard scuffle. Tyson's fans, holding on to memories of his prime, had to watch their hero reduced to biting his gloves instead of his opponents. The bout was less a clash of titans and more a corporate cash grab wrapped in disappointment, leaving boxing purists longing for the days when the sport still had some dignity.